Oh, hello. How are you doing? Ow, my foot! That hurt. The Revelations edition. So today I'm going to be using Hemi's All Winter Oracle deck with the Spirit Keeper's Tarot Vitruvian edition, Revelations edition. And there actually is a title card in here. I found it yesterday as I was putting the cards away. And since I immediately I didn't even look at the cards before I started using them, I didn't even notice that there was a title card. But there is. There you go. That's the title card. Looks very ecliptic in a way. Eclipsy. So I was going to the bath. I think I was going to the bathroom at work today. And now that I think about it, I don't even remember what was happening. But I just had a feeling that I was right where I needed to be. Like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now as I was going to the restroom. Oh. I got a yes card. Yes at the bottom of the deck with Kuja Chagalia, self-determination. Again. And more harvest. The card that came out, though, is exchange. What says Happy Kwanzaa? Also, have you ever had a moment where you kind of sort of realized there's that synchronicity again? Where you kind of sort of realize that you have you ever woken up one day and just realized that you're a totally different person, but not in a sudden or immediate way? Maybe you just have a realization about things that you've been doing for X amount of time, or things that you haven't been doing for Y amount of time. And you're just like, wow, I'm different. Kind of sort of had one of those moments. I guess I surprise myself sometimes. Ujima, again, collective work and responsibility with full moon energy and others. This makes me think of the Wheel of Time and the Way of the Leaf. If you focus. Hey Zelda, how's it going? I hope you get to see her. I hope everything's all right. I think last time you were here, you mentioned talking to your daughter, or hopefully seeing your daughter that weekend. This also makes me think of it's what we do for each other. But in the Way of the Leaf and it's what we do for each other, it's almost like it's for a better future. It's things that we do without thanks for people that we may never meet, for people who we may never get a thank you from or acknowledgement that we may never receive. Um, I'm doing well, thank you. I'm glad to be finishing up the work that I had to do. Thank you for asking. This is my last green tea. I was at the store. I should have got more. I shouldn't have because I had the thought. The bottom of the deck is partnership and memories and self-love. Interesting. I feel like there's a really almost collective vibe that this deck has, and I'm not surprised. Or at least lately it's coming out with a collective vibe. It's 9:36. 9:36. Excuse me. I don't think I have too many decks that really bring through a collective or interpersonal sort of energy. So I'll have to keep that in mind to use this as an oracle whenever it feels like it's a self and others thing. No. I want to get. I'll do two. I was going to do three, but three's a little excessive. So I'm going to shuffle. I'll do. Maybe I'll do one. I don't know. Kirsty! I'm doing well. How are you? I found my passport today. So I was like, I know I put it somewhere where I wouldn't lose it. Now, where is that? And it was in a place that I wouldn't lose it. It was also in a place that was like the last place. It's the last place I looked, but in the general vicinity of the first place that I thought to look. So I got to keep it safe because, I'm supposed to be leaving in less than 10 days, in 8 days. So I kind of need my passport to leave the country. But I'm excited. How are you? Tired, but excited. Okay. Who are you? The Ebony Shield. Sanctum of Treasures. That's interesting because I feel like the Dragon's Horde card has been. I've seen it a few times on Reem's channel, and it made me think of the Horde Hauler because of the word Horde. And how with Horde Hauler, like, we had to search and search and search, or at least I had to search and search and search to find the fire to activate the vehicle. It's like literally every other element popped up besides fire. Another card, I don't think one fell on the floor. Oh, it's Fireball. I was like, what is this? Excuse me. I know, right? It's like, I'm going to put this in a place for safekeeping where I'll never lose it. And then it gets lost. So the Queen of Swords, that was the Queen of Pentacles. The Scarlet Shield, Sanctum of the Valiant, also came out. What's interesting is, I believe I pulled in between every card in between the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. Because, like, the Queen of Swords is the thought or the concept. The Queen of Pentacles, did I say that right? The Queen of Swords is the thought or concept. The Queen of Pentacles is like the material. And then this deck, they're both shields. So they stand at the entrance exit of those realms. And so it was like, how easily can things transit or move between the realm of thought and the realm of physical, tangible, tactile reality? And they're both like literally right here. Now, the card that fell out face down Is this the 10? Yeah, the 10 of Cups, the joyous one in reverse. Which is interesting. I'm almost tempted to say the bottom of the deck is the grotesque. And then the defector. The 5 of Cups and the 8 of Cups at the bottom. What's interesting is the 10 of Cups and the 5. The 10 and the 5 of Cups are both Mars. Mars in Scorpio, Mars in Pisces. So that's Mars trining Mars, but Mars in Pisces is in reverse. Now, originally, that could have been like an opening of the floodgates. Things are pouring out. If we are in a position to receive, then we'll receive. What's interesting is, though, and I think I ended the reading last time by saying it was like if space is being created in your life and that space is needed to welcome something else, then I hope you can leave that space sort of empty while that thing comes in. And I was like, it's like if someone's gifting you a baby grand piano, but you don't have anywhere to put a baby grand piano in your home, how are you going to get the piano? You know what I mean? It's not like you can just like set a piano on top of a bunch of other stuff. Oh, just put it in the corner. I'll get to it later. It's like, no. But what's interesting about this, because of Spirit in the back, 3 of these cups are being emptied. And it's almost like they're being emptied here so that when this rains down up here, they'll be in a position to receive. And it feels almost involuntary because it's the energy of the 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups carries a certain grief or sorrow. But also it's being overseen by Spirit in the back. I don't know who that is specifically. I'm pretty sure that's not Kuan Yin, but it might be. And then there's also the pentacle drawn in the sand. And then the Queen of Pentacles is here. What's interesting is, though, this isn't the Queen of Cups. So with the Queen of Swords being the other queen here, there could be a space where we have to be a little bit more logical. Or I guess we don't have to be. Maybe we are being a little bit more logical because maybe we're reaching a point in decision where we have to consider more than just feelings. In the sense of like, there's something that we have to be realistic about. It could also be just like, it's time for me to like get myself together and start to move. It's time for me to pull myself together and act and do and heal and whatever. Insert blank in the blank. And so that is us like being a little bit more airy in a watery space. Where it's just like, we still give ourselves the space to feel whatever we feel, and we give ourselves permission to do and go through whatever we need to do and go through. But it's to keep in mind that this will not be a destination for us. In the 8 of Cups, was under this Five of Cups, the defector. Oh, snap. You want to know what's really interesting? There are 3 cups in the mountain. This person is leaving 5 cups behind. 5 cups and a mermaid. There are the 3 cups upright. The 3 cups that were spilled. And so maybe too, there may be things that we told ourselves or promised ourselves, or there may be ways in which, like, we don't want to risk getting hurt again. But it's almost like if we are to receive what we truly want, then it's something that we're just going to have to go ahead and risk. There are no guarantees in life. And in some ways, there aren't meant to be. But besides that, it's just like, how are you going to receive what it is that you really want, that you're asking for, if you don't have the capacity to receive it? So again, it goes back to making space. And once that space is made, a baby. That's cute. It's the birth of something new. Sorry, I had a weird thought earlier. And it was kind of related to a baby, but hey, Holly, how are you doing? Excuse me. I don't want one more. I think that's it. I think that's kind of sort of there we go. The theme. Transition. Oh, the baby almost dropped the baby. Almost dropped the baby. Baby almost fell off the table. Baby and transitions. This makes me think of nesting and preparation. And I am going to pull that card. Bottom of the deck is treat yourself. Oof, I've been doing that a little too much. I haven't been eating too much sugar lately because of my tooth. And I've been feeling good. So yesterday I was like, I'm eating all the sugar. And my tooth was like, hold up. You ain't got to go sugar crazy. You know, give you an inch and you take a mile. Give you a bite-sized Reese's peanut butter cup and you take a whole full sheet cake. It's like, okay, but I've missed sugar. I miss sugar. I've also I've been like getting into dark chocolate more. I used to not like dark chocolate because it wasn't sweet enough. But ever since I learned to taste the sweetness in carrots, because I wasn't eating like any sugar, I was like, "Whoa, are carrots sweet?" It blew my mind. But I've grown an affinity for dark chocolate. Let me find that card though. I know the bottom one is nesting and preparation. And I pull the card. Excuse me, before and after. Before and after. And they're Just in time. Where is this card? Here it is. It's the King of Clubs. Okay. Ooh, love this energy. Ooh. So, the King of Clubs is where feminine and masculine meet, the conception of innocence, nesting, and preparation. And it's in between the Seven of Spades, taking the plunge into an ice cold tank, dissolution of the self, integration, and separation. And the Four of Diamonds, dawn before the first day of a new world, an old earth passed away, a breathtaking sight. There's also no fire here, besides the King of Clubs, I guess, because clubs are like wands, right? Ooh, pomegranate. You scared me at pomegranate. I don't know how I feel about fruit and chocolate, or fruit flavored chocolate, or fruit scented chocolate. I don't do chocolate covered strawberries because I don't like strawberries. Um, it's interesting that this is earth and air and water. It's also interesting. So we have court, actually, we have court earth and the Queen of Pentacles, court air and the Queen of Swords, court fire and the King of Pentacles because of the King of Clubs. And in water, the closest we are to court energy is the Ten of Cups, but it's in reverse. Which is interesting because now it's like all elements are present. Everything is in place, everything is in position. We just have to work to a point to be able to sort of accept it. And there's something that has to happen within the self. There's some kind of peace that we might have to make with our lives in some way, shape, form, and fashion. A peace that we have to make, something that we have to let go, or something that we have to make room and space for. Um, and then over here again, it is air and earth. On the left side is the diamond, is the pinnacle. On the right side is the spade, is the sword again. Dawn before the first day of a new world, and old earth passed away, a breathtaking sight. Taking the plunge into an ice cold tank, dissolution of the self, integration, and separation. So, in one way, the world itself is new. And in the other way, we are made new. And then in the middle, where feminine and masculine meet, that internal change meets that external change. And in that, something is conceived. I almost wonder if this isn't like, or if this won't be an extremely potent time. It's almost like if it were a certain movie or whatever, it's like while a woman is pregnant, or in one show in particular, it's like while a woman is pregnant, she gets access to the gifts that her child has until that child is born. But while the child is inside the mother and being developed by the mother's body and biology, the mother gets to access those gifts. But it's more so just like the space itself. Maybe it's like, since everything is so malleable, because everything is in change, it's so much easier to change something. It's almost like, hey, I'm going to the grocery store. Let me know what you want. And as long as I'm in the store, I'll get it. Right. I want one card that is neither of these. One of these to complete this. I just want one more card. That made a noise. Oh, that's more than one. That is two, but they're on the table, so I'll take them. Bottom of the deck is the bereaved, Saturn in Libra, and we just saw Saturn in Pisces with that Eight of Cups. Saturn enters Pisces after Aquarius. Two cards fell face down. They are the Three of Pentacles and the Archangel of Glory. Again, the King of Pentacles energy. This is where feminine and masculine meet, the conception of innocence, nesting, and preparation. Angel of Arts, Angel of Art and Grace is the Archangel of Glory. The Three of Pentacles is the Mason. And it's Mars and Capricorn. Lots of Martian energy. Mars in Pisces with the Ten of Cups. Mars in Scorpio with the Five of Cups. Mars in Capricorn with the Three of Pentacles. Mars in Capricorn is the sextile that sits in between this trine. So Mars in Capricorn will actually try a sextile Mars in Scorpio, and it'll sextile Mars in Pisces. So we have all of these harmonious, more favorable energetic aspects of Mars and Mars and Mars. Which is interesting. With Mars and Pisces being in reverse, it is also like forget the dream for a second. Forget where you think you're going. Forget what you think you know of what your life is to be. And it feels like with Mars and Scorpio is interesting because it could either be us like acting on base desires or like to fulfill very sort of basic needs, which might read as like a little lusty, I guess, because it's Scorpio and it's Mars. But a less favorable aspect of Mars and Scorpio could be when we're acting in those base ways, but we don't know. So it could be like a lot of trauma responses, or it could be a lot of things that we like say or do, and we don't fully know why we say or do them. And in that great way, it could be like sabotaging. It could be very sabotaging. Mars and Capricorn, though, is excellent for building foundations. I think Mars is exalted in Capricorn. And then we've had Saturn here. Is that a Russell? Oh, snap. Hey, Russ. Mars is conjuncting Neptune in Pisces today. So Mars is in its third decan. Mars is officially in Ten of Cups territory then. Because Neptune is in the third decan of Pisces. But yeah, Mars and Saturn, like I feel like Mars and Saturn get along really, really, really well. And Mars is again exalted in Capricorn. And so with Mars, it's more about knowing how to put Mars in a space where he can be beneficial more so than like trying to rein in, trying to control, trying to change Mars. Because if you try to change Mars, he may try, but he'd probably fail miserably. Because Mars was created to be Mars. And Mars is an energy that we need in a lot of ways. And Mars energy in the space of transitions can be gorgeous. It can be literally all about building the new. And if we operate this right, it's almost like we can have a foundation for the next thing before the old thing is completely phased out. So what it will do is it would eliminate lag time. If there's any lag between the end of one thing and the beginning of another. And it's almost like I don't know why, maybe it's because it's Mars and Capricorn. It's like if one lease is ending and another lease starts, maybe you get like a gap place, so you're not like homeless for 2 months, 3 months between leases, depending on how much overlap you have. Sometimes you get plenty of overlap. So you actually get to move in, assuming that they're close enough. You can move in or move stuff from one place to the other, sort of like at your own pace, because you don't have to be out of your old place immediately. And you can kind of sort of more or less stressedly acclimate to the new place. So this Three of Pentacles is actually a bridge. Now, one thing with the Mars and Pisces in reverse, with Mars and Scorpio upright, could also be, it's like something within us or some way that we act because of something that is deep within us. It's when that doesn't align with what our vision is. It's almost like, if you want to save a bunch of money, but you have a gambling problem, or if you have any kind of problem where you spend money, it's like, how are you going to save money if you can't save money? You know what I mean? And so that's when a pattern or behavior would directly conflict with a vision, a goal that we have. This Queen of Swords, Queen of Pentacles is still interesting, though, because that makes me think of an immediately met request, a land where all seasons reside, because there is almost no, it is like there is no lag time between the thought and the manifestation, but it's very like bendy. It's not a straightforward path. And it makes me think of that Rainbow Bridge again. But the Rainbow Bridge, like it being a shortcut sort of energy. Well, I guess I will do too, because why not? The Archangel of Glory, Angel of Art and Grace, it just speaks of a certain finesse. I guess. It speaks of finesse. Unicorn Fringe. I don't get it. I'm lost. I'm tired, so I have not much brain. Excuse me. It's not a subtlety. It's just finesse. It's the grace. It's the grace. It's the creativity. Yeah. And yeah, with the Three of Swords at the bottom, Saturn in Libra, that's definitely more of that Mars and Scorpio, at the very least, sort of like being made aware of some of those internal maybe pains, maybe things that we suppress and try not to dwell on too much, because there may come points in time where it's almost like we can't help but act out in certain ways, and in those ways may not be conducive to us getting where we want to go. They may be like very much the opposite of conducive to us getting where we want to go. And it could be, it's the Three of Swords. It's interesting because here lately, I find myself, I was just talking to my journey buddy the other day. It's actually hilarious because I was talking to my journey buddy the other day about, what happened? Okay. Sorry. Did I do that? I don't know. Did I just like go like that and it just stuck up or something? It's funny. I was talking to my journey buddy the other day about, and I talked about it on here, about how I used to feel like I knew myself back in the cage. And I had a dream night before last, and I told Reem and Rob about it. And in the dream, I looked in the mirror in the dream, and I was like 12 with like more facial hair than I had when I was 12. Like it wasn't like full, whatever. But I was like 12 with some peach fuzz. And in the dream, I'm like, whoa, like full disclosure, I am like 29 years old. For some reason, I look 12 in this dream. And Rob was like, well, was there anything that like happened in your life around that age? And I was like, that's around the age I decided to go in the cage. And so from this weekend talking about being in the cage to what was that, Monday, Tuesday, having a dream, going back to sort of being in the cage, to tuning in to to Eve's videos this morning, and Pisces gets like the rusted cage. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. Okay. And then the first card in my 9 degrees of Saturn Paration, it was the Seven of Swords and the Gilded Tarot Royale with the open bird cage. And I was like, oh, so one of the first things is going to be like getting out of the cage. I was like, okay, I get it. I get it. It was not intentional. I might have just accidentally did it. But yeah, anyway. So I guess I was talking to her this weekend. We talked both Saturday and Sunday. This others card again. This makes sense. What's at the bottom of this deck? And Susie, I was telling her about something. Oof, this is not great. This is not great. There's some real not great energy. And the Five of Hearts after we just had the Five of Cups. And so I guess I've been thinking, like, it's basically about like how I like to help and support people. And then she was like, well, do you think like, that's a thing where like if you are helping somebody else, you don't have to focus on yourself? And I was like, in the past, yes. But now it's just like it's in who I am. It's in my nature to want to encourage and support and root for somebody. It's in me to want everybody to win. Um, but I guess it's interesting because here within the past few days, I think back on some past experiences and I'm like, what are we doing right here? Oh, I should have put a little fireball in it. Actually, I am going to open up the fireball because why not? I've had this fireball for a long time and I want to get rid of it. Oof, oof. Why are you wet? Let's let you there for now. It's not you. But yeah, I love just like, I don't know. If everyone were happy, the world would be a better place, Because then maybe folks wouldn't minding their own business on this one. It's actually not too bad. Cinnamon whiskey. Cinnamon whiskey. So these cards are interesting. The Five of Swords came out. Who is this? Venus and Aquarius. It's interesting because I was going to say that's a little Venus. This is a little Trojan worry. How Venus was like, if you say that I'm the most gorgeous and I get that golden apple, then I will give you anyone's heart that you want. And Paris was like, give me Helen and you can have the apple. And Venus said, okay. And then the Trojan War happened. It's also interesting that we go from Mars to now Venus. Venus is sitting in a not great energy. Mars's energy was better, but it's not a competition. This is Venus in Aquarius, and Saturn is currently in Aquarius. So and this is the second decan. No, it's the first decan because it's 5, 6, 7. Why do I have? Oh, because this was at the bottom of the deck. I was like, why do I have two cards? And then the others card came out again with the Five of Swords, the Hector. And then at the bottom of the deck is Old Traditions. Now, the Five of Swords in the Spirit Keeper's Tarot, we see someone wearing the head of the Papal Bull. So this is very like the lapdog of Hierophant energy. Hierophant being like old systems, traditions, all that kind of stuff, right? And so it's almost like old traditions, old ways of being, they didn't make space or room for others. It couldn't accommodate for others. It couldn't account for others. And so it's almost like the system itself it's like as a non-inclusive system, it is in many ways limited. The bottom of the deck, or the card that came out in the Diceology, is the Nine of Spades, a swaying tower that is moments from toppling, clouded vision and burning lands, and a powder keg. The bottom of the decks, though, we have the Wheel of Life, So all of this will fall out of favor. It'll come to the end of its cycle. It didn't establish itself as something that would be long-standing. And then we have the home card, and it's this gingerbread house, which is really cute. And then the Five of Hearts, where passion meets determination, going the distance, a need for discipline, which is like the self-discipline card keeps coming out. There's just like a lot of unlearning, I feel like, that is here, because again, it's like it's something about the old tradition, it's something about the old belief, it's something about the old way of going about things that can't accommodate for others. And in not being able to accommodate for others, it can't accommodate for where everything is going and where it's moving. So it's very outdated. And if it struggles to sort of maintain not its relevancy, but if it struggles, it's like if it tries to maintain its rigidity, it will fall. I saw Eve use these, and I think I saw Reem use these not too long ago. And I want to use them. Yeah, because she used them when she did the mandala. Cult of Mithras? Which one is that? That's the sun card in, oops, the Tarot Apocalypsis. But yeah, Mars is like out here living his best life. Mars is getting himself together, and Venus is like. But I guess that's the thing about the difference between sort of like Venus and Mars. Because Venus was like, it's like Venus was always venerated. Venus was always desirable. Venus was always invited. Everyone wanted Venus around. Everyone wanted Venus. Nobody really wanted Mars because Mars was Mars. And so Mars being in the position that he's in, it's like, well, he's like, well, you know, how can I change? What can I do to fit in? And if Mars didn't have a Saturn, or if Mars doesn't have a Saturn, then it's almost like Mars doesn't have anybody to appreciate Mars as Mars. And not only does Mars not have anyone to appreciate Mars as Mars, Mars doesn't have anyone to sort of like show them or guide them in applying themselves in ways that benefit society. You know what I mean? And it's almost like because Venus never sort of had to go through that when things change. She's just like, wait, like, so you're saying all of a sudden Venus is out? Venus is always in season. It's like, girl, Venus was like, so 2021 BC. Sorry. Oh, that wasn't necessary. But it's like Mars is where it's at right now. Also, I think the energies are like, especially because there are so many things in transition, it feels like a lot of stuff is kind of sort of switching to an action oriented modality, where it's like bringing something forward, creating something, and not just sitting and waiting. Because some of the things don't yet exist in the new energy. You know what I mean? Someone has to build it. Someone has to create it. Someone has to make it. And are you going to sit there until like it's done? It's a choice. Like you could, but oh, the Cult of the Bull. Mm-hmm. But I love the Hierophant in this deck in particular because in this deck, the Hierophant is like one of those bringing power back to the people, the forest. And this is 36. Look at that, 36. It was just 9:36 some number of minutes ago. The shapeshifter 15 is at the bottom of the deck. With 33, the mountain. A 33 and another 6. And then 16. Excuse me. This is what I want. I think that's another thing about Venus, too. Especially with the energy of others. Venus in Aquarius is interesting, though, because Aquarius feels like so much of an energy that will put itself outside of others. And so it's almost like it's constantly trying to separate itself from others. Maybe in some self-defensey way, it tries to elevate itself above others. Like, oh, I'm special. I'm going through this. And, you're not. It pushes others away. And then it's almost like it's surprised when nobody's there. And it's like you pushed everybody away. Anyone who would have been here, you made sure that they wouldn't be. The forest is interesting. The forest in this one, it feels like it's connected to everything, but at the same time, it's all alone. Maybe because it protects itself from everything. It's almost like it's one of those, like, there's going to come a moment in time when you're going to want somebody there. There's going to come a moment in time when you're going to need somebody. When we're going to need somebody. When we're going to want someone there. And when that time comes, what have we done to sort of put people there? Or what have we done to push people away? Or what have we done to put people in a position where they feel like they can't reach out because of how we might react or whatever? And it's the Five of Swords. It's like there are no real connections in the Five of Swords. And it's almost like he looks over at the Raven and he's like, well, at least you'll be there for me, Raven. And then the Raven flies away. So then we have to go through some kind of transition or transformation to be a home where energy likes to live. Venus goes home in Taurus in 10 days. Right, she'll meet Mars at some point, right? No, she's in Aries now. She'll be leaving. She'll be going back home in 10 days. I think I actually like Fireball when it's like not cold or when it's not on ice. I like it better. This is kind of sad though. Oh, this is a 9. Duh. 36, 9. Hmm. And there's something about the owl here. It's almost like the owl. This is it's almost like, from what I know of the video game, because I've never read the book ever, especially with the old traditions, Hierophant energy, with this being the warrior of the Hierophant's lapdog, it's very Dante's Inferno. This is very Dante's Inferno. And when we transgress against another under some divine decree, it's like, well, dude, like, in what world would the divine tell you to do this? Because some Hierophant or some person, or you convinced yourself it was okay? Like, in what world would that be acceptable in the eyes of the divine? In the eyes of the loving divine. Now, if you believe that the divine is everything, it's both good and evil, and therefore kind of sort of indifferent, sure. In what way do you think you'll get better by doing so many others wrong? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, well, that was the belief. That's what I was told. That was this. And it was like, okay, but what about your heart, your soul, your conscience? Did none of that? And it's interesting because I watched an interview of an English gangster, and he was like, I don't like to be called a gangster. He's like, I'm a businessman and my business is crime. So I watched an interview of an English businessman who dealt in the realm of crime. And they asked him, like, what was it like to kill somebody, or how do you, like, get over that? And he was like, you dehumanize them, because it's hard to kill people, but it's more easy to kill those that you don't even view as people. And once you dehumanize somebody, I guess, and you think you're the only people that's people, I don't know. It ain't on me. You can do all kinds of stuff to people. And it's like, man. But, you don't view them as people, so it doesn't really count. And it's like, okay, yeah, but it kind of does. Because they're still people. And that almost goes back to that Mars and Scorpio. But it's more of like when or was that just this right here? When we have to do mental gymnastics within ourselves. And we have to, like, emotionally, mentally, and even sometimes spiritually manipulate ourselves into doing something or thinking that something's okay. It's just like it's gonna come a time when that falls out of favor. There's gonna come a time when the pendulum swings in the other direction. And when that time comes, those thoughts and behaviors will be very out of line, are very unaligned to maintaining the new sort of way. Right now, we're sort of on not the polar opposite, but more on the opposite side of that scale, where it's like, oh, well, like, where people do it all the time. They go into their narrative modes, and they create a narrative and a story to, limit your sympathies for some people, and then they create a narrative and a story to increase your sympathies for other people, to make some things feel more dismissible or deserved, and other things seem more like an atrocity that must be righted and corrected. But none of it is right. But what it's done to the heart of people. And so there we are, connected but still alone. Thankfully, it's changing. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Mars pops into Aries, and then she goes into Taurus. Is she going to be out of Taurus before he goes into Taurus? I don't know. I've been rooting for Mars for the past, like, year. Ever since Mars made some aspect to Saturn, I was like, Mars is, like, moving in a new way. Mars is that like that secret rogue, the underdog that like nobody is going to expect or suspect. Mars is already doing things differently. But that's the thing about transition. Because at some point, the new has to come forward. And so it actually begins before the end. Because it has to be ready when the end comes. You know what I mean? Again, it's about sort of like reducing lag time and the delays in between. But there's no reason for, oh, look at the box. The box in reverse, the box in the desert. There's no reason for anyone in the position of Venus to really, like, there's no incentive to really do anything differently. There's no incentive to change if you're enjoying the high life. You know what I mean? You probably just try to milk it for as long as you can. Enjoy being waited on hand and foot for as long as you have people who are crazy over you and servants to do your bidding. But that's also the thing with the Five of Swords. It's like you can't convince them that they don't see it. It's like they are intentionally bred in a way to get them to not see and get them to not think, to not question. And it's like the world in some ways itself, the unnatural world itself, just like pushes it. And I would say no one's at fault, but it's almost like, have you no heart? Have you no soul? Have you no conscience? Is there nothing within you that would say, maybe I shouldn't do this? Maybe this isn't right. Maybe if I were on the receiving end of this, I'd very much so not like it. But I guess there was a point in time when, things had to play out the way that they had to play out. So, a purifying light, a renewed mind, a moment of timelessness, and again, where passion meets determination, going the distance, and a need for discipline at the bottom of the deck. Prophetic dreams, inspired action, and tapping into the other side. Now I want to get one of the well-known archetype cards. You never had anyone wait on you. You've always waited on other people. I don't know if I'd want someone to wait on me. I feel like if I go to a restaurant, that's close enough. You know what I mean? My life is sedentary enough. I don't need somebody else to go to the kitchen and get me something. Like that little bit of exercise is, it's important. Ooh, Sacred Fire, Hallowed Flame. Ace of Scepters, The Awakening. With the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck. The Convalescent. Jupiter in Libra. And we just had Saturn in Libra with the Five of Swords. Which is also, if Saturn in Libra is the Five of Swords, no, it can't be. It was the Three of Swords. Saturn in Libra is the Three of Swords. Saturn in Libra is interesting because Libra is like interpersonal, multi-sided, dualistic sort of energy because it's like the self and others. It's this and that, or this or that, or this versus that in the case of the law. But with Saturn, it's almost like Saturn is too cut and dry to allow for a lot of the subtleties and complexities that Libran energy would need to account for. Because Libran energy in a one-for-one, tit-for-tat, there are going to be some things that it works in, but a lot of things where it doesn't. Ooh, the world. New World Order. Okay, there's Saturn. Saturn's like, what you say about me? I'm just shuffling these. I don't want to get these. Well, it's the awakening. Oh, look at this. Hallowed flame, the awakening, 4 swords. The angel is about to pour some water on this person. Like, wake up. Wake up. It's time to get up. I remember when we were little, our parents would get the spray bottle and squirt us with water. So we would wake up. Wake up with soaked bed sheets. Like, did I went to bed last night? It's time to get up for church. Come on, get up, get up. If someone changed your diaper, you've been waited on. Oof, I just had a dirty diaper. I changed my own diapers when I was a baby, actually. My mom said, do it yourself. And I said, okay. I'm kidding. Guidance. With medical intuition. Guidance is interesting. This guidance card plus this Ace of Wands plus this 4 of Wands or 4 of Swords is interesting. It feels like this is a lighthouse. It's like your light, your frequency, your vibration, the space that you hold, the energy that you hold calls in other things to you. And so your Ace of Wands, hallowed flame, is actually the thing that wakes these things up and guides them, leads them to you. Just like a firefly. Or some other, I mean, I guess it would be more like a moth to a flame than a firefly. But a moth to a firefly flame, I guess. That was quick. So the destroyer, number 23, immediately just slid right out. Oh, you see the eyes? What's interesting is, though, the poet is at the bottom of the deck. I'm actually going to use the mausolea because it makes me think of the poet of Avant. The poet of Avant that went to talk to the Leper King. The poet of Avant who told the tales of our bravery and our heroism or our cowardice and villainy to the Leper King. And then the Leper King is like, okay, we'll cue them up for this set of experiences and then we'll see where we go from there. But it's interesting because the destroyer has like the same light phenomena that's sort of like happening in the guidance card. But what I like about that, it's almost like you don't have to necessarily devote any time, energy, or effort toward removing or purifying or cleansing, purging things in your life. Like your light will do that itself. As you call in whatever you call in, and as you call in more of it, by nature, it will dilute everything that was already there. It's like if you go from, we'll say red and blue, right? You're in red and you get a few blue. Let's say you have 5 red and 1 blue, right? Or you have 9 red and 1 blue. So you have 90% red, 10% blue, because it's easy math. And let's say you switch your light to blue. So now you call in more blue things. Well, at first, it's going to be it's like sometimes in switching to blue, we may go into a mode of like, I have to purge all of the red. I have to cleanse myself of the red. I have to do this. I have to get rid of the red. But it's like if you focus on the blue, you'll go from like 9 red and 1 blue to 9 red and 25 blue, 9 red and 50 blue, 9 red and 100 blue. It's like you don't have to devote energy towards getting rid of the red, because as the blue comes in, the concentration, the number, the comparative relative number of red to blue will decrease and decrease and decrease and decrease and decrease, to the point where it essentially sort of takes care of itself in a way. And so it's not, it becomes one of those things where it doesn't necessarily have to be like, I got to do this and I got to do that in order to do whatever. Now, self-determination is a thing. Whatever you got to do, like whatever you feel intuitively that you have to do, like do it. Just know that you don't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm actually not going to pull before and after the Poet of Avon. I'm just going to shuffle these and see what comes out. With the stray cats. There is actually a cat in the neighborhood. But we're dog people. Okay. It's almost like if there were certain seeds that were planted, going back to red and blue and green and any kind of color, it's like there's a seed planted that sprouts, I guess. And it's waiting on like your light in particular. It's like your light, your energy is at a certain vibration and frequency that is coded to these things to help them grow. But that goes back to yesterday. It's like it's a return on the energy that you invest, in a way. Okay, Mausolea, help me out. I'm trying to go to sleep. Hey Siri, what time is it? I need to stop relying on
10:43 p.m.
10:43. I need to stop relying on Siri because I had another. I'll be half asleep and I'll be like, Siri, what time is it? Or I'll be like, Siri, set an alarm for this time. And I think I'm starting to dream responses from Siri. Because I woke up today and my alarm was not set. And I told Siri to set my alarm. And I thought I heard Siri go, okay. Good thing I just happened to naturally wake up. Okay, Mausolea. It really does feel like there's such gorgeous, like we're in such a gorgeous space of transformation and transition and change. But ultimately, it's like, would we even be able to receive it in a way? It's like, does our lifestyle, and it doesn't have to be perfect at the moment, because as things come in, then like our life can change, right? And it isn't even necessarily about being ready. It's just like being open to it, having the space. You know what I mean? Okay, Mausolea. John. Oh, look who's at the bottom of the deck. The poet. Let's go. The Poet of Avon is the storyteller. It's fame, stagnation, and pride. John, the maid, came out. Guardian of saints. She is humility, disillusionment, and champion. Who is John Baptiste du Sable? Who is that? I gotta look it up. I gotta find out. Jean Baptiste du Sable. How do you? Is it this dude? Is it Jean Baptiste de la Salle? Is that who I'm thinking of? French priest, educational reformer, founder of the Institution of the Brothers of the Christian Schools. I thought Jean Baptiste Disabled was a person. I don't know how to spell disabled though. D-U-S-A. Oh, A. Jean Baptiste Point Disabled, I don't know how to pronounce this, is regarded as the first permanent non-indigenous settler of what would later become Chicago, Illinois, and is recognized as the founder of Chicago. Okay. So he's the dude, the first non-indigenous, the first permanent non-indigenous settler of what would be Chicago. I think it is Joan of Arc, but she's Jeanne the Maid. I didn't get one of these, did I? Oh, snap. Glad to hear that, Zelda. I hope you enjoy your time with your daughter. Excuse me. Hey, Sandra. How are you doing? Whoa. Why are these not trying to trick me? Okay. Okay. Humility, disillusionment, and champion. I might read her. This is literally the same card. I just flipped this card over because it was already face up and it flipped right back over. A purifying light. What is this? A purifying light, a renewed mind, and a moment of timelessness. Taking the plunge into an ice cold tank, dissolution of the self, integration and separation. 7 of diamond, or 7 of spades, 7 of clubs, 7 of wands, 7 of swords. Let's read Jean. Jean, just stay close to me. I'm okay. I'll let Bayonetta. Jean, looks like you are in the Republic of Pandemonium. I think. Maybe. Maybe not. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. I am wrong. She might be from the last one. I know I've seen her around here somewhere. She's not in the domain of Duat. I know that. Is she from the land of Shoal? Yep, she is. So, the shepherd of lost souls in Shoal. Jeanne was a noble and pious hero in life, martyred for her trouble. She prefers to avoid the politics and machinations of Mausolea on the whole, serving instead those who need her help and who cannot help themselves. Jeanne demonstrates the world weariness of those who have given as much as they can, that it can be wise to eschew the larger, more cynical conflicts for doing real, tangible good in a local way. A champion does not require a global stage. Her domains are humility, disillusionment, and champion. So with her immediately following the last one, Because the last one was about old traditions, it was about old hierophantic systems and how sometimes all of that, everything that the old world sort of represented. And then specifically with her world weariness and her deciding to do local, tangible things instead of focusing on global conflicts that she can't necessarily influence or change or impact. It's interesting, especially with the hallowed flame, the convalescent, guidance, and the destroyer. It's like focus on the blue. As you focus on the blue, the red will more or less resolve itself, kinda. Because we bring in more and more and more and more blue, right? And that makes me think of something I was talking about it recently, I remember. It was yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, I believe. And it was about how, like, the skit or the play, I know it was in these cards. It was what remote fortune, collective this, collective that, and something else. And it was like if there are these larger sort of things that we may struggle to sort of see resolution in, there may be specific examples that come along just to prove to us that something else is possible and that it isn't foolish to hold out hope for a certain thing, or that it's okay to continue to put energy into what you wish to see manifest in the world, right? It's giving me very that. We do what we can, and we can't do any more than what we can do. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's your Dreamstyle birthday for 10 more minutes. Happy Dreamstyle birthday. A quick trip to Denver this August. This August, I will hopefully be in Canada. I got some buddies to see. I got some people to see. I think I'm going to be there in Canada. I think I'm going to be there in August. Osiris and Arishka go. Woo! So now I'm going to get final messages and then I'm going to go to sleep because it's like almost midnight. And I got to work tomorrow. Only a few more days until vacation. I can't wait to go on vacation. I just hope I'll be alive. I'm going to land and we're going right to Scotland. So I was like, I should be able to manage something for a few days because then we'll be in Northern England for a few days before we go to London. So hopefully I can survive that first weekend. And then catch up in the middle of the week so I can enjoy the second weekend. And then I come back on Sunday, go to work on Monday. See you later, Holly. Enjoy time with your friend. The prison country formerly known as Canada. Formerly known as... Oh, okay. That took me a second. I think we'll be... So I'm trying to visit my friend while they're in Toronto, because I have another buddy in Toronto. I got a few people I know in Toronto, in the Toronto area. And it would be nice to see him because I haven't seen him since 2015. But I think she said they'll be in Toronto for a few days and then they're going to be going back to Montreal. I think Montreal. So I don't know if I'll be in Toronto or Montreal. Hopefully Toronto. I know, right? I would love to see Reem. It's funny because one day I had a dream, and I was telling Reem, I actually had another dream. There's one of my besties, my best friend. I can only go to one, or I'm only gonna go to one because I'm not gonna be there that long. Because I didn't want to take up their whole vacation and also only have a limited number of vacation days. I mean, either one I go to, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But I had a dream that I was getting on a train with my best friend to go to some city. And then I told Reem about it, and she was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna be in that city at some point, maybe this summer. I was like, what? Because that city is not too far from me. So I very well may meet Reem this year at some point. And then I was in Wisconsin for like a day. I could have met Rob last summer. Did I know Rob a year ago? I don't know. Maybe. Was it like June, July that I started talking to Rob? I don't remember. We'll see though, maybe. You've been to both Toronto and Montreal years ago. Oh, snap. I'm just now leaving the country. The comptoir. I've been to Illinois, Indiana, Florida, California, Mississippi, Georgia, North Carolina. Is that it? I ain't even been to a lot of states. Now Michigan, Wisconsin. That might be it. I want to go to Washington. I have a flight credit. Maybe I'll just go to Washington. Go to Seattle. I want to go to Seattle. I did. I'm going to your home, but you won't be there. You're in Mexico. Oh, snap. I have to reach out to you. Yeah, I think I did know Rob because I was like, I didn't even think about asking you. But I was like in Wisconsin for a day. It was misery. Like as soon as we left Michigan and went into Wisconsin, it was a not great time. Things didn't really improve until we left Wisconsin. We were there for like less than 24 hours though. There we go. I got somebody. The father. The father is interesting. Number 2. The bottom of the deck is the eternal child. The eternal child and the father. With the dead end under the eternal child. It just feels like, there's one side of father energy that we've seen. It feels like there's a side that we haven't seen. But the side that we haven't seen, it's interesting because this side looks like an impression. Like it looks like this is negative space. Like this is the actual thing. This is just a space where there is no thing. It's like if you look at it, it's like it doesn't feel like, yeah, see, even down here. And I guess you could say that for both of these, but this, it feels like this is the actual tree cutting into the sky. This is just like the absence of whatever this stuff is. So that's interesting. I don't know what that means. Let me get another. I want another, please. I want another. You're going south soon. You need cooler climates. Yeah, I bet. Another Mexican summer. Heat and humidity. Thunder and lightning. The shaman. I actually saw the shaman. The shaman was behind the poet. Bottom of the deck is the nectar. Look at these hands. It's interesting because it looks like the shaman is reaching out into blank void space. But in the nectar, we see that there's actually something there. Again, we have the black and white motif that we saw on the father. In nothing lies everything, I guess. Life is just real interesting lately. And I got a feeling like it's about to get even more interesting. Interesting in a good way. In a very good way. In a very, 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 very good way. Oh, excuse me. Heat sores. Oh my gosh. Nectar. Mellifluous is a word to be like nectar or honey. I feel like I usually hear that with music. Okay, Mausolea. Vanth. Who is this? Or Vant? This is Hades. Caretaker of the Lost. What's up with people in the Lost? Because John the Maid was the shepherd of lost souls. Vant or Vanth, caretaker of the lost. It's respite, assistance, and memory. I love respite, love assistance. Memory can be pretty cool. I'll read it. Bottom of the deck is Caron the Fairy Man. Necessity, focus, and transition. So there's that transitions energy again. What else was it about Caron? I feel like I saw Caron and something came to mind, but I can't remember what it was. They're both in the realm of Hades. You see the little Pluto sign? Two cards in the same realm. Oh, because one of the rivers. I don't think the Styx is the Lethe is the river of forgetfulness. What is the Styx? That's not the river of lost souls, is it? Let's say rivers of Hades. Rivers of Hades. Acheron, Phlegathon, the Cocytus. Styx is hatred. Ooh. Circling the underworld 7 times, thus separating it from the land of the living. Styx float out of Oceanus, the great river of the world. In Greek, the word Styx means to hate or abhor, and it was named after the nymph of the river. Homer called Styx the dread river of oath. Zeus used a golden jug of water from the Styx to settle disputes among the gods. If a god swore falsely by the water, he would be deprived of nectar and ambrosia for a year and banished from the company of other gods for 9 years. And it is kind of interesting because, is that not a golden jug? She like swear on the water of the river Styx or go without nectar for a whole year. No nectar and ambrosia. Excuse me. Is it the drachma? Is it drachma? Is that Greek? The leaf is oblivion and forgetfulness. Upon entering the underworld, the dead would have to drink the waters of Lethe to forget their earthly existence. Lethe is also the name of the goddess of forgetfulness, who was the daughter of Eris. She watches over the river. Plato's Republic. Reported as a real-life body of water in modern-day Spain, Lethe was also the mythological river of forgetfulness. Lucan quotes the ghost of Julia in his Pharsalia. Me not the oblivious banks of Lethe's stream have made forgetful. As Horace quips that certain vintages make one more forgetful, and Lethe's true drought is Massic wine. Acheron is woe and misery. In some tales, it's the principal river of the underworld, displacing the Styx. So in those tales, Caron takes the dead across the Acheron to transport them from the upper world to the lower world. There are several rivers in the upper world named Acheron. The best known of these was in Thesprotia, which flowed through deep gorges in a wild landscape, occasionally disappearing underground and passing through a marshy lake before emerging into the Ionian Sea. It is often said to have had an oracle of the dead beside it. Okay. Aristophanes. Phlegethon is the river of fire. Because it is said to travel to the depths of the underworld where land is filled with fire, specifically the flames of funeral pyres. River Phlegethon leads to Tartarus, which is where the dead are judged and where the prison of the Titans is located. One version of the Persephone story is that her eating some pomegranates was reported to Hades by Ascalaphos, a son of Acheron, by an underworld nymph. In retribution, she sprinkled him with water from the Phlegethon to transform him into a screech owl. Okay. Aeneas traveled the Phlegethon when he went to the underworld in the Aeneid. And then it's the Cocytus, or the Cocytus. Cocytus? The river of wailing, a river of cries and lamentation for the souls that Caron refused to ferry over because they had not received a proper burial. The riverbank of Cocytus would be their wandering grounds. This says that Cocytus actually flows into Acheron. It starts out as a branch of river number 5, the Styx, and flows into Acheron. Okay. So there is not one forgetful. Wait, what is this? Lost souls. I guess the lost souls would technically be those wandering Cocytus, right? Because they couldn't pay Caron, and Caron was like, sorry. Excuse me. So, Vance, let me read this because I got a bed to get to. I got dreams to dream, apparently. I need to go to Hades. Oh, it's literally right here. Caretaker of the Lost. The Caretaker of the Lost, Vanth, guides the dead who become sidetracked or misled to their proper places. An agent of Hades' mercy, she helps them recall that which they most need to know about themselves to continue on in the afterlife. Benevolent and dedicated, Vanth provides that which is most needed at the point where it is most needed. She inspires us to trust those who we depend on, and that the tools which will aid us will be there or will be easily found at the critical moment. It is important to rest, to breathe, and not give in to panic and fear. Interesting. So Van provides that which is most needed at the point where it is most needed. She inspires us to trust those we depend on, and that the tools which will aid us will be there or will be easily found at the critical moment. It's almost very like when the time comes, you will know what to do. And then we have Caron. So it's almost like if you didn't get buried with a coin, don't worry because Van can spot you a drachma or two. Because I think in Roman culture, I feel like they buried with 2 coins. And it was like 1 coin for something, another coin for something else, maybe not. Maybe not. 2 coins for Caron. Let's see. Caron's Obol. Obol? What does Caron do with the coins? He saves them up to buy his freedom. Why do people put 2 coins on the eyes of the dead? The coins were a bribe or payment used to ferry the dead into the underworld. Yeah. I thought it was 2 coins in Roman. And they put them on the eyes. It makes me think of I, Claudius. Here we go, maybe. Is this Quora? He actually charged only 1 coin to help the spirits cross the river Acheron. This coin was usually placed in the mouth of the dead person by relatives or well-wishers. The idea of 2 coins actually came from living heroes who went into the underworld and then came back out. Yeah, that's what I thought. But then I was like, I don't think anyone comes out of Hades. So 1 coin was the charge for a one-way passage, but for someone who wanted to go back, an extra coin was needed. There you go. So this one says that although a single coin is more accurate, the media and modern literature popularized the idea of 2 coins for the Tales of Heroes. Gotcha. Don't tell me to upvote. I would have upvoted anyway. I would have upvoted if you didn't tell me to upvote. I'm just playing. Okay, there you go. Anyway. Death tax. There's been inflation, so it's 2 coins now. Oh, you didn't get the memo? Sorry, you're gonna have to wonder the cocytus, the cocytus. That would be so. Imagine like you got your little coin, you're going up to Caron, and Caron's like, "It hasn't been one coin for years. Like, where have you been?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Sorry, you're gonna have to wonder. It's 2 coins now." Excuse me. So I'll read Caron because why not? I like Caron. I guess Caron seems cool. Caron the Fairy Man, literally right after Vamp. The ferryman of the dead, Caron eternally delivers his charges from one side of the river Styx to the other, unwavering in his devotion. He is unmoved by pleas or petitions, leaving judgments and pronouncements of innocence or guilt to others. Caron and his fairy represent a necessary passage in the journey, the transition from one state of being to another, with no moral or ethical value attached to the change. This is the necessary step for good, ill, or neither, and it is left to us to find meaning in its completion. Ooh. Ooh. Caron's like, listen, buddy, I'm just doing my job. Good, bad, and indifferent. As long as they got a coin, they cross. Okay? They could be the best person in the world. They could have ended world hunger. But if they don't have that coin when they meet me, they're not going to get passage. There are no favors in the underworld. I'm kidding. So yeah, if we need that coin, we'll get it. Maybe it'll also Vanth will also help us to find a perspective that's helpful to us. You know? I'm so sleepy. I'm ready for bed. I found 48 hours of pure white screen today. We went from 24 hours to 10 hours to 48 hours. I love that they just like pop up in my recommended now. I don't even have to search for them. Well, I gotta look for them. Sometimes I gotta click a button. So, Melancholia. Is that not? Is that a movie? It is a movie. Two sisters find their already strained relationship challenged as a mysterious new planet threatens to collide with Earth. Okay. I didn't know if there was also it's one of the 4 temperaments matching the 4 humors. I didn't know if it was just the movie or films, musical composition, a musical composition by Duke Ellington. Maybe I learned about that in maybe that was it. Or maybe it was just the movie. It might have just been the movie. Because I was like, I know there's something. Yes, it is a movie where a planet crashes into Earth, according to the internet. I have not seen it, but Excuse me. White screen is good for me. Oops. White screen is good for me holding up cards to the camera so that you can see them. White screen is good for giving me light this way so you can see me instead of light up there. And this light over here, I still haven't reset. So your ex made you watch it twice? Was it a decent movie at least? This is interesting though, because I talked yesterday about the snowflake. When I was doing East to Eigeshomer, I was telling Twitty about East to Eigeshomer. And I found my little green notebook. Because the melting card came out. This was, which way did I like it better? It wasn't like great. It was rushed, and my artistic abilities aren't the best. But that was like East to Yor to Windhorn to Eigeshomer. Like we start at East and then we go to Yor and it grows out more until it's the Eigeshomer. And then we get this other one and it keeps on going. And then as it continues to grow, we get these bands like rings on a tree. And when it's cat and Eigeshomer, it can't expand out anymore. That's why I was talking about the snowflake. So because of that in particular, it feels like a feeling of stagnation or like being trapped or something not happening quick enough. The bottom of the deck is partnerships. Our partnership, though, with spirit being under that. Sorry. I feel like I love this deck, but I feel like it expands me in a way that I don't necessarily want to be. Because spirit being partnership and melancholia is like, it feels like an energy of some kind of attachment. So good energetic hygiene, good energetic boundaries. Let's shuffle this again. That is not my territory. Go talk to someone else about that, because talk to almost apparently literally anyone who's been on Rod's channel, because every time I go watch a video, people are talking about stuff I don't want to hear about. And then I'll comment oof, or I'll send Rob a message like oof. It's fine. You have no memory of the story. Gotcha. We're all gonna date someone dead. Wait, what? Maybe not all of us. Actually, it's funny that you say that, because I just watched a movie, and it's funny that you say that because Vanth and Caron, I think, made me think of it too. I think it was Vanth in particular. I watched a movie yesterday or the day before. Last night or the night before. It couldn't have been last night. I think it was the night before last. I watched a movie. And it was like, if you die single, then you wander the afterlife until you find your soulmate. And once you pair up with your soulmate, you move on. So it was a movie about a guy who died single and he was trying to find love. And everyone dismissed him. nobody would even talk to him or look at him. And then one of the people was like, there were a few people that were kind of helpful. It's like, we've been down here for a while. And basically everyone had given up. And some people were like when you meet that person, instantly. And I don't feel that. So what's the point? But he met this girl that was alive. The dead guy met a girl that was alive, and they fell in love with each other. And I was thinking about that in Vanth, how it said Vanth helps those who were sidetracked find whatever they need in Hades to move on. And then with, I guess, spirit being partnership and Melancholia, it's just an interesting little synchronicity. It was a decent movie. It was decent. No heartbeat, but thumbs at least. Ooh, Kuja Chakalia. Kuja Chakalia loves to come out. Self-determination and constellations. Bottom of the deck is Melancholia. Still can't escape it. It makes me think of this again. Of these two with guidance. It's like self-determination being the light that sort of connects and bridges all of these stars together into constellations. And Melancholia could be when we find it's difficult to shine, or if you get a little weary on the journey, or if you just get like down in life and it's hard for you to want to put energy into something, or it's hard to get motivated about something. It's just the space where that self-determination, that drive, the desire for more might sort of carry us through. And I'm actually going to look before and after melting, because melting in this context, I believe, would help us to break through this melancholia a little bit. Well. Oh no, this is another one. This is interesting. So we have ignoring signs and Nia or Naya purpose. It might be Nia. We get the red candle for the green candle. But ignoring signs. I feel like where ignoring signs would help us get out of a space of melancholia, it's almost like those signs would be more of like our signs, where it's like where we see something and we're like, oh, see, every time this happens, things go to crap. Or like, it's like how we fall into, it's like the links and connections that we make between events, feelings, situations, and like corresponding actions, or how things play out. And we might have to ignore those by remaining committed anyway. And it isn't necessarily committed to a person. It's an all winter oracle. So, or what recycled Christmas cards. The all winter oracle is like anything winter sort of related. So we got some quads. There's holiday stuff. Excuse me, solstice, full moon, new moon, gift giving. It's like that. The candles and snowflakes. Ouch. What do you mean? I'm confused. Oh, I have no clue. I don't know where the art for the cards came from. And I think that's the thing too here. Because this feels like an energy of disappointment. And so it's like there are these signs that we're going to be disappointed again. There are these signs that we're going to be let down again. There are these signs that things are going to fall through. And so we kind of sort of slip into a melancholia, defeated attitude almost prematurely. Or it's to be mindful to not fall into a melancholia prematurely because something looks like it's going to go a certain way. Because it very well may not. And constellations, by nature of being what they are, speak to connections. And some of those connections are very indirect or very sort of removed. It's like a star connected to a star connected to a star as part of the overall picture. So don't give up hope just yet. Got to keep the dream alive where everything is free. Can't you see? Is that living in the city? Oh, I'm so ready for bed. It's been 2 hours. Oop. As always, though, listen to your intuition and your guidance. Because it's almost like it feels like there may be like kind of sort of like no win situations. It's like this is a sign that that's going to go wrong. This other thing is a sign that this person is blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, well, are there any signs that something is going to work out? Are there any signs that something is going to be amazing? Or have we become too jaded and cynical? Have we been let down one too many times to allow ourselves to experience anything amazing ever again? And it's a choice that we make in a way. You know, we don't choose to be hurt. Oh, a card came out face down. Who is it? It's the Three of Wands, the politic. Three of Scepters. This card is about three wise men coming together to receive a prophecy. Bottom of the deck is Strength, the Force, with Mars and Capricorn behind it. The Mason, Three of Pentacles again. You do it. It's like this is them like trying to get a prophecy. Like, how do I X, Y, or Z? It's like you become strong enough to bring it into the world. You become strong enough to carry it. You become strong enough to bear it. So, and the journey to becoming that strong, sometimes it's going to require you to be strong. Sometimes it's going to require you to be brave. Sometimes it's going to require you to keep after the thing, even though things may not seem sort of favorable. I'll read that Three of Wands politic. Three of Scepters. Three of Scepters. Your diplomacy, tact, pragmatism, and prudence are why you are about to achieve great glory. This is the spirit of ingenuity in wielding your personal brilliance, social intelligence, and psychic dexterity to successfully navigate complicated social or political situations. This is the spirit of established strength by your side, coming to you as three Babylonian magi or high priests from the Chaldean Empire. Upon their staves, the names Metatron and Uriel, talismanic sigils from the holy tablets of the fathers, and petitioning sigil for drawing down the powers of the sun. Here we see powerful allies supporting you in your endeavor. This isn't about working harder, this is about working smarter. Expedient success is coming your way, but be prepared to act when the opportunity arrives. There is advancement in the sciences, arts, and culture. So it says, be prepared to act when the opportunities arise. Vance says you have everything that you need when that opportunity comes. And if there is anything that you need that you don't have, it will be easily accessible. When the moment comes, you will be more than capable. You just got to do it. You just got to take the leap. And it's like when Aladdin's like, do you trust me? Was that Aladdin that said, do you trust me before he put Jasmine on the magic carpet? I don't know if I've ever seen Aladdin. I think it was Aladdin. And he was like, do you trust me? And she was like, I literally just met you. Yes. I can show you the what? Anyway, sorry. We'll have everything we need. We have the guts, we have the bravery, we have the courage, we have the stamina, we have the endurance, we have the resources, we have the community, we have the connections, we have the capability, we have the capacity, we have the intelligence, we have the creativity, we have the drive, we have the ambition, we have literally everything. Anything that we don't have will be easily found, will be readily accessible. Sometimes we just gotta do the hardest part, which is to choose. To not only choose and decide, but to have the determination to keep choosing and to keep deciding and to not waver. So that's what I got. This was something. I hope you all have a good whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. Thank you all for being here. I am going to sleep now. Bye.